Hello there. It has been some time since my Wind Ranger video, and honestly, I couldn't be happier with the result. Well, almost all the results. Thankfully, every game I play now, there's a dude on the enemy team who says that all of his friends keep showing him the Wind Ranger video. He picks Wind Ranger, goes mid, and he loses. Honestly, the amount of enemy Wind Rangers versus teammate Wind Rangers has increased dramatically, and I gotta tell you, I couldn't be happier. Enjoy the Arcana, guys. But that success aside, my biggest criticism of the Wind Ranger video was pretty surprising. No, it wasn't an outcry about how Wind Ranger is good. Pretty much everyone except for Wagamagaga can agree the hero is shit. No, the biggest criticism was kind of meta. In short, how can you, a Techies spammer, say that another hero is garbage? Of course, I understand. The mentality of the community against Techies is both extreme and prevalent. Techies is, without question, the most loathed hero in the game. But it really got me thinking, why? Why do people hate Techies so much? And how can I change that? Now I know, you laugh. How can you make me not hate Techies? Fuck Techies! The hero shouldn't even be in the game. It's an abomination, you say. Well, yeah. I agree with you, but that's the point. Techies is supposed to make you hate him. He is my favorite hero because you don't play Dota when you get to play Techies. You play something much more interesting. You play with the human mind, but we can get into that later. Let me lay this out for you. You know why you hate Techies? Because 9 out of 10 Techies players have no idea how to play the goddamn hero. So, that's what we're gonna do here today. We're gonna go over how Techies should be played, why every Techies you play with is garbage, and hopefully educate these terrible Techies to make them allies that will put a smile on your face every time that they are picked. It's gonna be hard. There's a lot of hate for these 3 little guys, but please, if you play Techies, or just hate them, give this little guy a chance. Let's begin. So, what do I know about Techies? Well, everything. He's my most played hero. I'm level 25 on him. I made a guide years ago on how to use him. Hell, Owie2000 said in an interview that he stole some strats from my Techies to win TI5. I ain't bullshitting you. This is my boy. And Omni Knight. And Diaper Man. But anyway, I am pretty much Techies. In this video, we're gonna lay out what Techies should do and why everyone seems to suck at him, including pro players. But to get to that, first, we must understand the Techo. You see, Techies doesn't play Dota in a traditional sense. For almost every hero, Dota is a game of mistakes and efficiency. If you're standing still in a game of Dota, you are doing something wrong. It's a race to see who can get the most gold, the most experience, and be that from farming, killing, or pushing to get the advantage over your enemy in a very equal environment. For everyone but Techies. You see, Techies doesn't give a shit about gold, farming, shit. Techies doesn't even care about his HP. He plays on a different set of rules. And you should love that. Because if health, money, and farm doesn't matter to me, the Techies, well then it's all yours. If you ask a Techies player, what is the most important thing Techies needs to succeed, you will get a lot of answers, depending on how good they are. Bad Techies will tell you Techies needs mana. Honestly, Soul Ring's enough. Decent Techies, they'll tell you that it's all about positioning, bomb locations, your location, etc. That's pretty close, but it's not that important. See, the best Techies players will always say the same thing. Techies needs time. You see, you care about last hits, your HP, your mana pool, vision, positioning, your ult timer. I don't give a shit about any of that. All I need is time. And to get more time, I need to give you and my other teammates success. That is why a good Techies gives his team everything, more so than any other traditional support could ever dream of. You see, a traditional support needs to play by the rules. They are bound by gold and XP. They feel the weight of every purchase because it reduces their survivability and effectiveness later in the game, but not with Techies. I can spend all of my money on you because I literally want to die. And with 3 items, I'm fully farmed because I'm not trapped within your rules of Dota. It is my job to make your life as easy as humanly possible, which is why when you see a Techies on your team, you should be very, very happy. So let's go through the laning stage and I'll show you what I mean. Techies is the best laner in the game right now, bar none. I know this seems like an insane statement, but stay with me. His level 1 blast off does 300 magical damage at level 1 with a 4-second silence. That is half of Lion's ult in damage as soon as the game begins. Oh, and it's AoE, by the way. But the real kicker here is that it denies you. Due to this, Techies is the king of the laning phase. Remember how I said Techies doesn't play Dota? Well, that shines here. You see, Techies wants to die over and over and over again for a variety of reasons, but mostly to make you, his teammates, game better. In my lanes as Techies, all I care about is giving the best possible early game to my teammate, because the early game to me is meaningless. Techies doesn't care about farming or last hits. A level 3 red mine can farm an entire creep wave instantly. He can take 3 jungle camps in 4 seconds. Techies is the only hero that can make unlimited money whenever he wants. I legitimately have no use or concern for gold or XP because I can get it whenever. What Techies can't do is win his game alone, because he needs time. So a good Techies player becomes the game's most sacrificial support in the laning stage. Position 5? Bitch, I'm position F. I ain't even on the number scale anymore. Here's my laning stage as Techies. You buy a soul ring components because before 20 minutes you have soul ring, you're pretty much fully farmed, and you buy an annoyance item. That could be Orb of Venom, that could be Blightstone, that could be a headdress, and I go into lane with one purpose: to die. Enter lane, start clicking on enemy. Now, Techies attacks don't do anything, which is why you buy an orb or a blightstone, but it is very much like a drop of water. It's not about the damage, it's about the annoyance. It's about constantly dinging and damage, slowly taking away at the enemy's sanity. Right-click Techies has incredible range, fantastic speed, and it's just never ending. All I care about are range creep denies and clicking enemy heroes hundreds and hundreds of times. Why? To slowly degrade the sanity of the enemy team. And for my lane partner, if Techies is in your lane constantly clicking the enemy support, they need to deal with that. But they attack me, not you. They harass me, not you. When they pull, it's me using my insane range to re-aggro the creeps. God forbid they let me harass them enough where they get low enough for me to kill them with a blast off, and the enemy carry needs to stop hitting creeps to save their support. You see, a typical lane is 2 carries trying to get farm and 2 supports trying to outplay each other by pulling or harassing, but not Techies. I don't care if I need to dive the enemy support at their tier 2. I don't care if I take hits. I want to die. A Techie's optimal HP is 20% at all times. Every time the enemy hits me, they help me. They didn't hit a creep, they didn't hit you, they hit me to get low enough to deny myself and deal massive damage to them. All of this chaos, this constant clicking and blast off and ruining pulls, this is all so that you are completely ignored and get the farm. And quite often, use one spell to get the world's easiest kill. And all that is level 1. Come level 2, we got bombs. Laning Techies should use bombs not to kill, but to dissuade. Put your bombs in the side of the lanes. Put your bombs in common camp pull routes, and put your bombs behind the enemy fucking tower. The enemy laners should be terrified to go anywhere a creep doesn't go, and their troubles should hopefully be echoed to the rest of the team. Why? No ganks. In a typical lane, if you and your support are doing too well, the obvious response by the enemy is to send more people or even the mid to stop that lane domination. But with Techies, the mid ganks through the jungle, he dies. Smoke gank into the jungle is at best noticeable, at worst suicide. There is no other support in this game that not only wants you to tank spells and right clicks, but also prevents the enemy from sending reinforcements to slow you down. And we haven't even talked about the blast off deny. Again, in my lane, all I do is kill myself over and over and over again because it's efficient. Most Techies you see run tranquil boots because they're stupid. Blast off power isn't doing a big boy magical damage nuke and then scurrying away to heal up. No, blast off is a free boots of travel. Back to base, fill up your mana, but more importantly, buy items for your lane partner. I probably spend anywhere from 400 to 500 gold in the laning stage buying shit for my lane partner as Techies. Are you hurt? Well, I got 3 salves ready to go. If you use 1 spell to kill a dude I've been harassing for 2 minutes, well, here's a clarity. Again, that's my job. I die, I go back to base, I buy you consumables so that every single cent you make in lane is used proactively. Again, money means nothing to Techies. When you leave the lane, I can farm every single creep instantly. A Techie's job in the early game is to make the best fucking laning stage your partner has ever seen. It takes a real special player to lose in a Techies duo lane. I mean, it's rare, I've seen it, but if you can lose a lane where the enemy heroes are constantly being attacked, have 0 ability to move in the fog of war, are too scared to hide under their own towers, and then when they get below half HP, they literally insta-die, I am impressed at how shit you are. Anyway, if your hero has a stun, a slow, you're gonna get kills with a Techies in a duo lane. You're not gonna spend any money on regen. Don't worry, I gotcha. You're not ever going to be ganked. And if you do, we're probably gonna get a double kill. And when you, my beautiful baby boy, are strong enough to lane all by your little lonesome because you're 2 levels ahead of the enemy and there's 8 green mine pile behind you, that's when the real fun begins. And that's when I disappear. You see, the second most broken thing about Blast Off being a free boot to travel is that Techies doesn't need to stay in one lane. In fact, he's a laning stage gank machine. You denied yourself 3 times already, top, and TP'd back. Well, on the 4th time, go mid. Put 4 mines down in the trees, or go bot. Put random mines down on the sides of the lane. Disappear. This is another incredible strength of Techies and why you hate him. Fear. Doubt. When you notice that the enemy Techies has been off the map for 5 minutes, the mind starts to wander. When mid ganks bot and dies to a red mine, even though Techies has been top for 8 minutes, the doubt begins. The hesitation, the fear. Techies doesn't just win one lane. My job is to make sure that all the lanes are won because the enemy is scared to gank. Ganking is one of the most fundamental, important aspects of Dota 2. No one dies to 2 dudes in full vision running straight at them. You need to utilize the fog of war to surprise the enemy in order to kill them. But Techies makes the fog of war scary. How can you gank from the trees at any moment if you die in the trees? Is it worth it to even try? For many against Techies, no. It takes 1 death, the mind of a sane man, to begin to build the fear and doubt. So as a good Techies, it is your job to utilize yourself constantly denying the move positions as much as possible, planting bombs in routes gankers would use to move between lanes and dissuade or kill them. The psychological battle near the mid to end of the laning phase is your biggest strength. After I win my lane for my partner, I want to be off the map as long as humanly possible. If the enemy sees you, they know where the bombs are, and they feel safe, and they will avoid that area. If the enemy never sees you, well, they're never safe, and they're never confident enough to gank your allies. Now you, the Techies teammate, can see where I am and what I'm doing, and usually that's pretty helpful. Putting down wards, stacking, setting up for Roshan, putting down piles, but the enemy may never see me again. And that's how I keep you safe. Pub stompers who rely on ganks, like your Quap, your Rickies, your bounty hunters, when the fog of war is turned against these heroes, your life becomes much easier. While you're working on getting gold and XP, I'm working on removing the enemy's confidence. And when the enemy is unconfident, they are easy to predict. Thus ends the laning stage. Again, the mere presence of Techies in a game dynamically changes it for both teams. But you're on a team with a Techies, and that's a fantastic thing. You have a player that isn't playing Dota, which means that you don't need to share with him. And this is where many shit Techies get it so wrong. I cannot stress this enough. If you want to get tranquil boots, go do big magical damage, and then scurry off and heal, pick a goddamn support. If you rush Yules on Techies so that you can Yules them and then put a red mine and a stasis mine down so you can stun and have big magical damage, pick a fucking support. This is not how you play Techies. Large burst damage and stuns in the early game are for support heroes. Pick Crystal Maiden. Have a great time. Techies' job is to inflict mental damage. It is to inflict fear, doubt, and anger in the enemy team and give every cent you could have made to your allies. Techies should make the game as painless as possible for every one of your allies, just in the non-traditional ways. And now we come to one of the biggest reasons you hate Techies. Bad Techies after the laning phase. Techies is the best laner in the game at the moment. He is also one of the best pushers, in a way. One of the reasons I love Techies is because he's one of the very few heroes that can win any game. If you won the laning phase, he's amazing. If you lost, he's one of the only ones that can come back, better than almost any other hero. But what so many shit Techies do is waste the opportunity of a one lane. They take their victory and they waste it running off defending towers or putting some random giant mine pile in a random place on their side of the map. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Techies has different sides of the map. The friendly side of the map is where you have bombs, and that should be where the enemy wants to be. I want you to picture Techies as Broodmother, but good. You see, traditional push heroes are balanced because their summons give gold. Sure, Brood might push towers like crazy, but if you have wave clear, you can catch her and her spiders and make a big chunk of change for your efforts. Kill some Lycan wolves and a necro unit so you make money back. Hell, if you buy a sentry ward and deward, you make double your investment. Buy a dust and kill a Ricky for your investment, you get the idea. But not with Techies. You see, there is no reward for ganking a good Techies unless you consider the sweet release of death as a reward. Techies, when winning, should push like a Broodmother. Get deep into the enemy jungle and take it over. Constantly push the lane, set up green mines, push, push, push. One lane as hard as you can. This has incredible benefits. Solo pushing one lane forces the enemy to react, taking pressure off all the other lanes, especially if the other lanes feel like they have won and can afford to let them catch up in order to deal with you, the Techies. Unlike Broodmother, there's no reward for ganking Techies. If you respond to my pushing and try to kill me, I just deny myself. No gold, no XP. And that's if you even make it to me. I should have 2 or 3 green mine piles waiting for this gank, and if a good Techies can kill the enemies that went to gank him, it's a super win. Tower damage, gold, XP from players that have been doing well on the enemy team, and space for your team. It only gets better. Kill one and the supports come with their sentries and hopefully gems to clear you out of lane. Slow, methodically, wasting their time finding piles and trying to make back their gold as you destroy each mine one by one before they're able to make any money to ensure that they're spending 30 seconds doing literally fucking nothing. Ho-ho! It is orgasmic. Taking away the enemy part of the map is incredible. It's what Broodmother webbing the enemy jungle wishes she could do. If you're winning a Techies game, your job is to make the enemy jungle your home and push, push, push. This is another reason people hate Techies, and it's another reason I can blame on people that just don't know how to play the hero. Techies make game long. The most common complaint, well, you're right. Shit people that have no idea how to play Techies make long games. But a good Techies wants your games over as quickly as possible, and they can do it better than most. Okay, now even I do put a mine pile that can kill a hard carry in front of all of my towers before I decide to start pushing, but you must push. Because if you make it to a tier 3, you just win the game. The sign. Most Techies consider this a surprise defense tool. Wrong! This is a tower-taking tool, baby. It's 20 minutes. You've been a good boy. Soul Ring, Mana Boots, Aghanim Scepter. You should have Ags after all those nuking creep camps on your way to the tier 3. So what do? Put that sign under the tier 3 enemy tower and start mining up. Let me ask you a question. How does one defend an objective that you can't be anywhere near or you instantly die? The answer? You fucking can't! If you push as Techies and get a sign under the tower with 4 bombs, it's literally just over. The only way you can lose is if your teammates dive the fountain or sit there while the enemy team dives against you. If you put a red mine under the sign, it is literally impossible to hit. And with Ag's increased cast range, you don't need to be in danger to do so. If Techies is winning, it is very, very hard to lose. His biggest weakness then is bad teammates not taking advantage of his insta-win capability. Shit Techies go into defense mode on one of the most effective pushing heroes in the game. If your team is pushing and you're winning and you're not there with them, putting stasis mines behind them, setting up bombs behind them, you are fucking up. And that's just another reason to love Techies as an ally. No other hero takes over a jungle like Techies. No other hero can set up a forward outpost of damage and stuns on a tier 3 push in case you need to fall back. No other hero can have 10-minute vision of Roshan and insta-kill anyone who might go for it. When Techies is winning, you're going to win. Not the case for many heroes. If Skywrath is winning, are you going to win? Maybe. Maybe they buy a Glimmer Cape. But if Techies has a 20-minute Ags and is pushing a tier 3, that Brax is gone. But now for the biggest complaint. Why you truly hate Techies? Because he won't let you lose. You see, when Techies is winning a game, he wants to keep that momentum and push. But his biggest strength might be to salvage unwinnable games. There's just no other hero that can kill a level 25 hard carry with 20 kills and 0 deaths at 25 minutes except for Techies. No other hero that can predict the movements of an entire enemy team 5 minutes before they make them and get a rampage in the goddamn jungle. There's just not. If I have a Soul Ring, an Ags, and a Force Staff, I can hold a game for 75 minutes. And y'all hate that because it makes life hard on you. It's hard to make a comeback in Dota. Dota 2 rewards players for not making mistakes and for being efficient. And you, as someone who has made mistakes, are now punished. Showing in lane is frightening, farming is scary. You may want the game to be over and forget your mistakes and move on, but that's not how Dota works. There is no surrender button, much like in life. And if you are still alive, it can always get better unless you're dead. And when you're dead, you don't give a shit anyway. Do you fondly remember the time that you went 30 kills and 0 deaths in a game of Dota? Sure! But is it the game you remember? No. The one you remember as your greatest victory is the comeback. The impossible odds. Snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. That is the heart of Techies. Techies players win at any cost. And I mean any cost. I've played 2-hour turbo games as Techies. I won't let you lose, even if you want me to, even if you beg me. Even if you're playing your hero for the first time because you're cavern crawling and you just want the game to end, too bad. I'm gonna buy your ass 10 minutes to watch a Dota cinema guide and learn what your hero does. You're not allowed to lose. Life will find a way, and my Dota game will find a way. That's why there's no surrender in Dota. You're allowed to hate Dota, you're allowed to hate life for being hard and unfair, but you don't get to hate me for not letting you give up. Because friends don't let friends quit. Do not hate me, the Techie. Hate the game. Because you think Techies isn't Dota. You think Techies doesn't belong here. He's toxic. He's evil. He preys on your subconscious. He wastes your time. He solely exists to make people miserable. And I ask you, how is that different than Dota 2? Dota 2 is a game that takes 10,000 hours to even be close to competent in, and you're never going to win the International. You've wasted so much of your time, and you're not even good. You think about Dota when you go to bed, the mistakes, the people flame you, it haunts your subconscious. You don't think Dota is evil? There are Smurfs in every game. For 10 years, there is no new player experience except for being by account boosters. The most popular thing in our battle pass are thinly veiled ways to shit talk the enemy and tilt the fuck out of them. We pay more than any other sport in the world to tilt random people on the internet that have wasted as much of their lives as we have for just a small, insignificant moment of gratification that they feel worse. In a world of video games where casual fun and teabagging the enemy is the greatest insult you can muster, we play a game that is practically impossible to play with 4 random people, and yet we never give up. and we fuel ourselves knowing that the joy of our victory caused twice as much pain to the enemy in their defeat. And you think Techies doesn't belong in Dota? Newsflash. He's the fucking mascot. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this guide, shitty techie players and people with techies. Now, if you're a techies ally, if you have a techies in your lane, here's a couple tips for how to make them happy. Number one, never heal a techies unless they've already used Blast Off. If I have full HP, I cannot deny myself. Thus, I cannot go back to base or reposition into another lane. So please don't heal me unless I've already used Blast Off and you're saving my life. The worst thing in the world for Techo is when an enemy is going into the jungle, demining their red mines, and their laning partner does nothing about it. Listen, if you have a stun and you stun someone trying to find a red mine, you literally insta-kill them. Do me a solid and kill that support Crystal Maiden for free. Another thing you can do with techies is stay away from them. If I'm pushing a lane and have a bunch of bombs there, don't go to that lane. Go to another lane, unless we're losing and you need to win a team fight. Again, treat a winning techies like a brood mother. Let them make you space and push any other lane until it's time to go uphill. Lastly, be kind with the neutral items. Again, techies should have no items except for boots, soul rings, ags, and whatever else they need. If you find an arcane ring, I know you want it, but please, give it to the Techo. He gave you everything. Be nice to the little guy. Again, thank you all so much for listening. Thank you again to our Patreons, and please, respect and love the techies that are giving their lives for you. No need to hate. Unless they're shit techies, then hate them. Hate them as much as possible, and link this video to them after the game. Have a good one.